Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're going to talk about hidden causes of back pain. And I'm Phaedra Antioco, and I'm an occupational therapist. I'm a pain and trauma relief coach, and I've been practicing for over 20 years. And let me tell you, when people come to me, when I work online with people or in my office, I see and hear the most amazing stories of people who've had injuries. People pretty much who come to me are people who've tried everything and they can't seem to get better. And then we dig, we ask the right questions, and we put the pieces of that pain puzzle together. And I thought we really need to we want to discover and talk about all these hidden causes of back pain that you might not be aware of, why you're actually hurting every day. So if you are waking up with back pain, I have a little trick and a little solution for you. You know, if you get out of a chair and you're hurting, I'm going to open your eyes about something, many things that are contributing factors to that. Okay, so let me just know you guys can hear me. And I really would love to know, we've got a lot of people on, where you are calling from or where you're coming in from. And if you've had back pain, but not only if you have back pain, but what on a scale of 1 to 10, I know you guys hate this if you have pain, 10 being off the chart pain, how bad is your back pain? So this is a free coaching call, basically. So, Shova's coming from Sydney. Oh, beautiful. I wish I were there in your summer right now. But we're going to talk about pain, and I really want you to use this. Don't be shy. You can chat with me in the chat box. You can look carefully, and you can send me directly a message so no one else sees it if you're shy or if you're an introvert. Or we're going to be live on the Facebook group, too. I know not everyone likes Facebook, so I've offered this option here. You can be on with me. And let's see, so you guys get familiar with the bottom. There's a chat box there. And then there's a Q&A. And we're going to go through some interesting questions here. I'm going to ask you, we're going to explore, and I really hope that you can bring your questions too. So let's just check real quick and make sure everything's a go here in our Facebook group. Let's approve everybody. I keep it, you have to apply to get in, so it's private. And I'm hoping to build a community. Because I know I have some days where I'm so alone or just having a struggle, and it really does matter reaching out. And I know a lot of us have a hard time asking for help. Some of my coaching clients, can't even use one of her arms, and she's like still not wanting to ask for help and learns how hard it is. All right. So can you guys guess some causes of back pain? What would be why your back hurts? And I know when I started, it was 30 years old. I was a pediatric therapist. I would lug around a lot of toys to houses and treat people, kids, and I'd sit on the floor a lot, and I would drive a lot, and my back just really, really hurt. And even at 30 years old, my MRI showed that I had degenerative joint disease, DJD. It is one of the most common diagnoses here in the world. Right, so Shoga saying falls, wrong posture, back pain, 6 out of 10. Yeah, getting injuries, absolutely, absolutely. So it is the first and foremost reason for back pain is tight muscles. But it's tight muscles from how you move, how you sit. Now, I'll just ask you guys, if you're on your tablets or your iPhones, people don't call anymore, they just text. And I feel like I'm always on my phone, and my hands are really starting to hurt. And so I'm just starting to notice, I have this wrist pain. It's coming from how I'm holding my hands. And this is so common. Everyone I ask is having this problem. So did you guys notice what I'm talking about? If you're holding your hand and all of a sudden your wrist gets sore, your muscles get sore. Well, it's no different. It's repetitive strain injury. So sitting can almost be that way. Now, after my car accident, I was so debilitated. I couldn't work with babies and kids anymore, so I had to work with adults. And primarily it was ages 65 and over, all the way up to 102. And so I learned, people were coming to me, they had so much pain, arthritis, you name it, and I could always tie it back to their profession. I could feel it in their fascia. and I can see it. So what fascia is it's an interwoven web of connective tissue from our head to the toe, head to toes. And all of our organs are suspended in it. It goes in between the muscles, and it's interwoven there. And it's kind of like when you have chicken, it's that white piece on the chicken, but it goes all the way through. And another example is if you cut an orange in half, all that white, that's fascia. And it should be hydrated and beautiful, but it doesn't always, and it gets shortened and it gets hardened, and then we lose strength. And when it's hard, it's pulling our bones together, and it's causing that osteoarthritis. It's causing a lot of problems. So that's really, really important to know that you are how you move. And I know you've heard me say this if you've been following me for a while, but these older people that I were working with, especially secretaries, they'd have that little hump up here. And I had a woman who was a chronic reader. She would read a book a day, and she was 85. And we had to modify how she was holding the book because it was upsetting her neck. I see teachers flipping papers. You wouldn't believe the shoulder and neck pains that they have. I had a retired dentist, 93 years old, the hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, I mean, he was just such a hunchback kind of guy. And imagine the posture of a dentist leaning over a chair, working very finely on a person for hours a day for over 50 years. So you are how you move, and I promise you that. So let's just do a little experiment with fascia and see if you're tight. I want you to raise your arms. I want you to open your arms up to the side, and I want you to open your palms, and it's like you're going to push away. Do you feel any burning there? Because if you feel burning, that's your fascia, and it's tight, and it gets shortened. Think about how often do you open your arms like this? Rarely. Maybe if you sleep, you might sleep like this, but rarely. We're so busy typing and holding our phones and driving and eating. So this is your fascia. It's everywhere. And that is contributing, those tight muscles are contributing to your back pain. So I have a video we're going to show you muscles, because I think it's so important. You don't have to know the names of the muscles, okay? Let's get that right. You don't have to know the names. You just have to kind of know where they are and feel them. And what those are is right here. This is our pelvis. It's 3 bones. We've got these ilium. We've got the sacrum and our tailbone here. We got all these muscles on there. Now, what is sciatica? Well, it's inflammation of the nerve, but why is the nerve hurting us and running down to our ankles and to our feet, causing the pain? We have muscles down there. Check this out. Pelvic floor. We have muscles there. So if you're sitting all day long, you're getting tight down there. And that's why we recommend a lot of times standing, sitting, taking breaks every 30 minutes, every 40 minutes. So, okay, yeah, we've got posture there. And we're going to get back to this in a little bit. So we've got all of these muscles. We've got our discs are in here. Even if you have neck pain, let's try to get up here. Do you see all these nerves here? You get nerve pain running down your arms, and it starts to happen in your 60s. It's so common. And sometimes computer programmers, engineers, people are working on the computer all day, it starts to get tight. So these nerves, basically the fascia and the muscles start to get so tight, it's putting all this pressure on there. And then you get all this pain. And then you start thinking about it, and life gets harder, it gets more stressful, and you can't do all the things you want to do. So again, does this make sense? We've got muscles here. We've got all the nerves coming through. And then when this muscle is the psoas, P-S-O-A-S, the psoas muscle. So this is a standing skeleton, but what if he were sitting, or she were sitting? It would be flexed. Your belly muscles, get this, are tight. You know, people when they stand up and they're kind of hunched forward and hobbling and can't quite stand erect, can't quite stand straight, chances are it's the psoas muscle. And then we've got the iliacus, which goes right into the hip. So take your hand and just kind of dig in a little bit to your belly and just feel those hard places. Just feel them. It contributes. And then up here, we've got our diaphragm muscle from left to right. it's going to also pull and cause problems. So basically, your belly's really, really tight and it's pulling on the nerves and it's causing a heck of a lot of pain. So if we stand too long and we're straightening our legs, and if we sit too much, it also impacts our hamstrings. So I'm just gonna share the screen here. I love doing this, and you guys love it too. So if you look here, we've got the human anatomy body. Again, you don't need to know muscle names, but just see how they are all connected through the fascia. And it's just like if you're making the bed and you pull one corner and it pulls the other. So many times we're treating the symptom, but not really the root cause of the problem. So are you sitting too much? Are you standing and leaning on your hip, one side or the other? Are you sitting cross-legged right now? Think about if you sit cross-legged, and you guys can try this now, cross, you're guaranteed one of these hips is going to go up higher. And chances are you're going to be sitting and crossing the same leg over, which is fine every once in a while, but 20, 30, 40 years, that's when it really starts to wear things out. So again, we're going to just take a real good visual here of the belly muscles. And if you look, what's important to work out and get released is definitely the belly muscle, definitely the belly muscle. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. Some of these muscles, all the belly muscles here. We've got our obliques. So if you take your little thumb and you put it between, and you can watch the replay of this later if it's too fast for you, you can put your thumb in between your rib and your hip, and you can feel these tight muscles right there. They're pulling on your pelvis as well, right? And it's compressing, herniated disc, all of that starts to get shortened and pushed out with all that pressure. The bones are slaves to the muscles. So if the muscles are really tight, they're going to push those bones down. Okay, so, and again, if you are sitting, you know, these are your sits bones right here. Can you feel your sits bones under you? So they should be out erect. You should be sitting up straight, but so many people sit like a banana, kind of like a hammock, kind of like, you know, just a banana. And that's going to put so much pressure on your lumbar spine. So I want you to stop doing that. And also, just one more reason why sitting is a hidden cause of back pain, which is becoming more and more common. And I want to show you, yes, it's because our belly muscles get tight, but it's because our butt muscles are tight. Okay, we've got our glute maximus, and I'll move this down so you can see the words. We've got the small, medium, and large. So this is the big one. This is the glute maximus. And then we've got the glute medius, the middle size one. And then we have the glute minimus. And then we've got this lovely pain in the neck muscle, pain in the butt muscle, literally, piriformis. And a lot of people are getting piriformis syndrome and injuries and things like that. But what I want you guys to keep in mind is that when you're sitting, or I'm sorry, when you're standing and your duck feet, it's just going to squeeze all your tush muscles. Okay, so we really want our feet to be pointed straight. And I will put a link for the 5-day pain relief challenge I did. You can sign up. You'll get an email a day for 5 days with me talking about all of this stuff, as well as me being able to show you what stretches. Okay, so just to rewind, we have tight belly muscles. Okay, tight belly muscles. We've got our glutes, our tight tush muscles, and our piriformis, but we also have tight hamstrings. So I'm going to go over to here, and we're going to look at the knees, and I want you to look right here when we sit. This is mimicking sitting. Okay, so do you see how this muscle is short right now, and when we straighten our leg, it's going to get longer. Okay, right here, look at that, long, and it's going to go short. Okay, so if you see this, it's short now. Where is it pulling? It's pulling all the way up to your low back, all up to that hip bone. So let's just watch this one more time. And I teach this is when we sit too much, our hamstrings get tight and we need to release them. We can release them with balls, with foam rollers, with manual therapy. Massage is okay, but it doesn't always work. I've been there, right? So going back over here, let's take a look. I'm going to stop this. Okay, so just to review, if I could get back. This is where I get a little tricky. Okay, quizzes. Let's see, we're going to exit there. Let's go to full body view right here. We're going to put our muscles back on. And so we've learned the belly muscles get tight, the back tush muscles get tight, hamstrings get tight, pelvic floor muscles get tight. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And the quads get tight, right? The quadriceps. And we've got 4 of them. We call them quadriceps. You don't need to know the names, but this little bugger is often so tight for people, especially sitting, that it causes the knee pain as well. All right, so I'm going to stop that. I'm going to just see if you guys have any questions. And you know, if we sit a lot, we sit a lot. And it's hard to combat that. I know I have a standing desk, and honestly, I prefer to sit because I'm focused and it's more easy on me. So we just have to make these differences in stretching, sit differently. Right now I'm sitting cross-legged. So cross-legged, it'll help spread out my inner thigh so I get a little stretch while I'm doing it. And if you have an ottoman, you can keep your legs out straight in front of you for a little while. Whatever you do, keep changing it up. Okay, especially also standing on hard concrete floors. Make sure you have some good supportive shoes. Now, women out there, we're going to talk about a hidden cause of pelvic floor and pain, bladder control issues, incontinence. It's very, very big, right? So our bladder sits right in here. And you know all those muscles I just showed you? They get so tight. They push on our organs. They push on our bladder and make you have to go to the bathroom all the time. Your heart's up here. When you're sitting, all those organs, your heart, your arteries, they're all going to be shortened and have pressure put on them. So for overall health, we want to get our muscles unstuck and untight and start moving more. And I'm not saying go to the gym and work with a personal trainer even. I'm just saying walk. Move your body, sit on the floor, get up. That's a whole nother lecture for another day. But going back, I have the pelvic floor here. And it's so common to have hysterectomies. They're not as popular these days, but many of you on here, there's 20 of you on here, we probably have at least 5 in here who's had it. And what happens is it creates scar tissue. It's like dried gum on the sidewalk. Right here in our pelvic floor, all these muscles here, our tailbone, our sciatic nerves coming through there, and you have an adhesion from a scar. Now, if you haven't had a surgery before, you might not really know scar tissue. In fact, a lot of my clients say, oh, I had my gallbladder out, I had my appendectomy, I had a hysterectomy. I had someone today who had a mastectomy, appendectomy, gallbladder removed, 4 spinal surgeries, and a C-section, and a hysterectomy, and tube tie. That's a lot of scar tissue. So, and I don't even know if you could see on my shirt, but can you see how I pull here? It affects the other side. So how do you think, and I'm pulling down here, look how tight that gets. So I'm pulling down on my belly. So surgical scars, adhesions get formed, and they're on our belly, gallbladder, appendectomy, I mean, you just name it. You just name it. It's going to create scar tissue, right? So that's part of a problem, and we want to try to avoid at all costs the abdominal surgeries, any surgery really. And don't even get me started on tummy tucks. That's just bad. That is just bad. And I've had a client who had such severe back pain, and the doctor, she had to have a female surgery done, and he offered to do the tummy tuck. She's like, sure. It like cinches your whole body together. Don't do it. Don't do it. And here's another surprising thing that you don't think about, but it happens. It happens. Let me tell you. Have you had a baby? Did you have a tear, a vaginal tear when the baby was coming out? Did you have an episiotomy scar here? All of that cinches down. Now, do you know dried gum on a sidewalk? Or when you're in school back in the old days, there'd be gum glued to the bottom of the desk? That's what happens with our fascia, which interwovens into our muscles, and things just get stuck. So it's important to consider that. And we do treat vaginally and rectally. Number one, in my opinion, treatment for back pain And if I work with people online, I teach you how to do this on your own, and I teach how your partner can do it for you, so you don't have to go to a physical therapist for it. And the reality is that it's life-changing, and you wouldn't think it, but it is. And my patients get better. My clients all get better from this. And again, we have that sciatic nerve coming out. You've got all these adhesions, and you've had abdominal surgeries up here. It's going to be a recipe for disaster. Then tubal ligations, getting your tubes tied, and vasectomies can all contribute to back pain by tightening and adhesions. It just, those muscles get so tight, it pushes the bones together, and then it really hurts. So I want to keep that in mind. So any questions so far? Oh, good, we got a couple. I love it. I love when you guys participate. Yeah, so someone has, Carol, I have not only back pain, but pain that radiates down my legs. And my doctor says I have spinal stenosis. It keeps spreading now, and I have carpal tunnel sometimes, shoulder pain, etc. So I'd be curious, Carol, if you're comfortable telling me what you did for work. That often ties into that carpal tunnel, being on a computer, typewriters, that hurts the necks. Hip pain is the same thing. Hip pain is just tight butt muscles. Butt muscles here, see that? All these get really, really tight, and you have to release them. So I buy and use different balls, and I teach my clients how to do this. So you can send me a message or reply to any of my emails if you want to learn how to work with me. I can really make some differences to help this break up this scar tissue. I have, you know, all the tools in the world, and sometimes we get a little irritated, we get aggravated when we do the ball work, especially if you're inflamed, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But do you see all these nerves right here? All those muscles that I just showed you are all on top of here, and they're putting pressure. When was the last time you went into physical therapy for back pain and they treated your belly? Probably, chances are they really aren't doing it unless you ask. And if I go to a massage, I have to really try. I don't know what else I have to do, give her $100 and say, hey, do this to my belly, because they don't listen. So we got to treat the front side of the body. Okay, so I went over, we went the belly muscles, the gluteal muscles, the tops of the thighs, the back of the thighs. How are you sitting right now? Is there a way for you to sit on the floor and stretch your legs out? Is there a way for you to long sit on the couch so you have your back against the armrest and then you're stretched out nice and long? Maybe you can lay on your belly, you can lay on your side. So just change it up and do different things. And then one of the last things, how many of you are jaw clenchers? How many of you are jaw clenchers? So let's play this game. Let's see. We have muscles here that are our jaw, and they pull all the way down to our pelvis. So let's play this game. I want you to give a nice clench, but tune in, and a lot of us are dissociated from our body. We're in our head all day, so this might be hard to feel. And if you are, then reach out to me, because we got to get you feeling again. That's the best way to heal. But clench your jaw and see if you feel it down there. Clench your jaw and see if you tighten down there. And a lot of times I talk about the nervous system and stress and being in fight or flight or freeze. That is important, and it also contributes. So if you're working at a desk and you're in this high stress corporate job, and every time the coworker walks by and you're clenching your jaw and you're sitting all day and your tush is really tight, so you clench here, you clench down there. Just about everyone I work with has a tight jaw, and I teach muscle releases for you to be able to work in your mouth and release it. So jaw pain links, pulls all the way down to our pelvis. Were you guys able to feel that? Yeah. And so Carol just talked about it, and exactly what I suspected. She was a secretary for years. So not all yoga is crazy. I like the lazy yoga. I like yin yoga or restorative yoga. And you can go and just lie down and do the stretches. It's very gentle, but just start moving and go slow. You can always use your insurance if you're here in the US to get some physical therapy and tell them I want to just work on stretching. And the best care I've ever received is when I paid out of pocket. When I paid out of pocket for something. Usually there's just a difference as far as their skill level. It's not a a therapy mill where you work with the physical therapist for 15 minutes, rub, rub, rub on your back, and then you're with this personal trainer or assistant for a long period of time. We got to strengthen core. Yes, we do, but we have to also look at these tight muscles and we need to release them. And they definitely, once you release them, the sky's the limit, because I'll let you in on a little secret. I have stenosis. In fact, I have stenosis so bad. And that's a narrowing of the canal. Let's see if we can even kind of see it here. So our spinal cord comes out of here where all these nerves are, and it's just so narrow, it's putting pressure on the nerves. And that's stenosis. And you might have one more, mine on the right side is worse. And I do get nerve pain, but I do my own treatment and I know how to stop it. I know how to get out of it. Okay. So I have, and again, and I talked about this last week, I believe, just because you have an MRI that shows that you're bone on bone and you've got herniated discs and an annular tear and an impingement on the sciatic nerve, it doesn't mean that you have to be in pain. It doesn't mean that you have to have back surgery. Okay, so this inflamed feeling, this burning feeling, not only do you have to work the muscles with manual therapy, and you can do self-treatment if you want to work with me. We work very closely. You try it out, you call me, we're like 24/7. I'm there for you to figure out how to get these muscles freed up. And the reality is, though, you can get these muscles freed up, and if you're still in pain, chances are you have inflammation. Think about inflammation. Those nerves are on fire. They are red hot, burning. The bee's nest is stirred up and it's so much pain. And that's why when I had my pain treatments that work interview series, we all talked about food and the importance of food. And that it's either inflammatory or it's going to be helping us. So we definitely need to look at our issues around food. What are those top inflammatory foods? You know, sugar, gluten, dairy can be inflammatory, corn, grains. I love Dr. Peter Osborne's work, and I have an interview with him. No pain, no grain, no pain. It makes us fat. It makes us inflamed and on fire. And if you go to a surgeon, you go to a doctor, they're often going to recommend surgery. I have not had much success with my clients. Everyone I ask, even in our pain treatments at work group, they have not had successful back surgeries that help relieve their pain. And if you look at what I just taught you, it's all those tight muscles that are putting pressure on it. Right? So it's super important to be able to treat the inflammation. So maybe ibuprofen helps you feel good. That's fine, but you can't do it that much because it's going to start to destroy the gut lining. It's only good for it's not really good for you, but if you're going to do it, just do it in, little doses and temporary. It's not meant to be taken every day because it will literally just cause reflux and all sorts of problems. So there are treatments, but the most easy treatment is using the tools that I show you, using a foam roller. And I teach all my clients about this. And I monitor closely because I don't want you to hurt yourself. Sometimes you get flared up. You ever get a massage and you hurt worse after? You're in more pain. Chances are at a cellular level, that's inflammation and you're on fire. So if you're not getting better and you're doing all the other things, then really consider the nutrition in the diet and getting rid of those foods that are putting the fuel on the fire of pain. All right. So again, just to review, we've got to get the belly muscles. We sit too much. Our belly muscles are tight. If you've had a tailbone injury, hey, I've had several of them, really bad falls. A lot of people tell me they've fallen off a horse, they've fallen out of a tree, they've slipped on ice, they fell downstairs and really banged their back and their tailbone. All of that starts to add up, as well as trauma gets trapped in the body. Now, when I work with people, we do what I call renegotiation of trauma. And did you know that for a woman who comes into me and she's got back pain really, really bad, and she had a C-section, maybe emergency delivery, it was unexpected, you're trying to give birth, the baby's stuck and in distress, and then you need an emergency C-section, they cut you open from left to right. Well, basically what I do is we renegotiate and we recreate that birth process of your child, and all of a sudden, opening happens. All that scar that was bunched up, and the woman's on the table, she's getting treated, or we work online, and they're feeling it, and all of a sudden the muscles just open up. So trauma is also another part of the pain puzzle. And it's really important to look at that. And when you fall, stay there. When you fall and you're scared and you're injured yourself, just lay there, feel that brace, that clench, and just hold it there until it lets go. And then you can shake it off. Because if not, it gets trapped in there and then your muscles are tense and then you're walking around without even knowing, guarding and protecting. Okay, so this is some important things. Yeah, we've got, yeah, oh, you were a secretary and had 2 tailbone injuries. So yeah, you need rectal work, you need pelvic floor. And I'll just show you again. Look at all these muscles down there. If you sat on a tennis ball, you'd feel it. You'd feel it. And if you're inflamed, then it would make it really, really hard. Okay, so Shobha, about the belly muscles, that's going to help your hip flexors. Just get a ball and work on it that way. And if you want, you can email me. I do have a special purchase of a $97 session with me, and it comes with Why Muscles Get Tight training. It's got all of the tools in there that you would need to help free up. And I would send you a sheet of products, tools to buy, very inexpensive, of how you could free up those hip flexors. Yeah, again, tailbone, really, really, really challenging. Yep. So she had a fall and fractured her tailbone, and they don't do anything for it. But if you start to have like rectal pain, pain with sitting, burning, that's called coccydynia, and that could cause problems. So if you looked at the anatomy, we've got the pelvic floor muscles, we've got our hamstrings get tight, just tight all over, and then it causes the pain. And it's fine when you're younger. But I know now that I'm in my 40s, I'm starting to get stiffer and tighter, you know, and it hurts. So any other questions as we wrap up here? And I do want to share, and I know a lot of you say, I use a pillow. I use a pillow at night and I still have back pain. I'm going to show you my pillow. And I got lazy because I admit, sometimes I'm just too lazy to just go grab the pillow and put it between my legs. I keep them on the side over by my hutch. And I stopped using this lovely pillow. Now, if you're a side sleeper, you sprawl out. And I don't even know if I can, I'll try to show you on this model. But just say that you're a side sleeper. And here's your hip, by the way. So if you have hip pain, it's related to these muscles all here and pelvic floor internally. But you see this here? So say you're laying on your side. What does this leg do? Doesn't this leg sprawl over and then you hyper stretch all of these ligaments here? And then you have hip pain, and I get pain right there on my left side. So luckily, doing the interview series, I was able to interview Jonathan Fitzgordon, and he told me, oh, take a pillow and tie a yoga strap between your leg. And I did it, and it worked. And then I went on Amazon and I found this amazing pillow, and it's pretty firm. And it has a strap. So if your hip is your left hip, for example, mine, I put the strap on my left leg. And when I sprawl, there's no way that I'm going to overstretch because this blocks the stretching. This blocks my spine from over twisting, which is going to affect all those muscles on the side. It really hurts. You take your thumb and you push it and they're really, really tight, you know, when you wake up. I swear this is a godsend. It's about $17. Just put memory foam knee pillow, and it's got this strap. There's a few in different colors, and it stays in place. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I was really hurting. I even called, I'll be truth confessions here. I just didn't, I forget, you know, I'm sure you guys are like that too. You forget. So a client of mine found a pain doctor. They liked them. So I said, okay, I'm gonna submit all my papers and I'll see about going. He does injections and stuff, mostly PRP and prolotherapy, which I'll talk about in a second. And I did all this work. I sent him my MRI results. I wrote up my history, my blah, 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 and I've got a history, okay? Because this is only one of my histories, okay? This alone is like, you know, 10 lines of symptoms. And so I sent him all the paperwork and they're like, okay, well, you have to come in on a Monday and then he does procedures on Thursday, but you're going to need a friend to drive you. And I'm like, why? What's he going to do to me? Oh, a nerve block. And I'm just like, I got so upset. This just happened last Thursday. A nerve block. I'm not going to have you inject something in to kill my nerves so I can't feel it. I'm going to release the muscles, or I'm going to do PRP or prolotherapy. So let me explain what those are. They're regenerative injection therapies, and I've interviewed Dr. Tina Moore several times. And again, if you want more info on this, you just anytime you guys can email me. And so we have prolotherapy, which is dextrose and lidocaine, and they inject it in such a way it stimulates your body's own healing response, and then you can heal the inflammation. This is just I'm dumbing it down right now. You don't have to know too much about it. And then there's PRP, platelet-rich plasma injections, where they draw your blood, they spin it for several minutes, it turns white, it's got all this healthy stuff in it, and then they inject it back into you. And I've had all of those procedures. I've also had amniotic membrane, which is amniofix in my leg that I broke, and that's really helpful too. So I thought I was going to go to this pain doctor because his website had that written all over his website, PRP, prolotherapy. And so I wrote her back. I was not going to go. And she goes, no, he has other options for you. So I am the guinea pig for you guys. So I'm going to go to the doctor with my stenosis, my 2 herniated discs, and my upper thoracic nerve pain too from my fractured spine. And I will find what a traditional pain doctor is going to tell you. And my heart breaks because I work with people, again, who've tried everything. They're not getting better, and their doctors aren't helping. And they're on all these pain meds, and they're really struggling. And we've got to figure out another way. And what is the way? Again, I got into this because of my car accident. I didn't know pain. I worked with babies and nervous systems and babies and hyperactive attention deficit and autistic children, right? So there is a way, and I'm the guinea pig. I'm going to go on Monday, and I'll let you know. Maybe I'll be crying on my Facebook Live next Wednesday. I don't know what he's going to say, and he might have some options, but I know that injecting something in to like burn the nerve to get my pain to stop, no, that's just treating a symptom. I want to treat the cause. I have to change my posture. I have to move better. I have to walk more. I have to do my ball work. I have to use my pillow, and that's okay, because when I use this for one night, I'm fine. I don't have any back pain now. It's good. So I hope this was helpful. Was it? So you guys definitely recognize these tailbone injuries have been a hard thing for you guys to have to live with, right? Yeah. And it is possible to break up scar tissue. Now, I had a moment, I still think of this, and I just like get upset and I get angry because I don't like to go into physical therapy offices because I know the work I do can pretty much heal anybody. And I go in there and I see people hobbling, getting these traditional rub, blah, and it doesn't work. And I have scar really bad because my leg bone ripped out through the skin in a car accident. I was half ejected outside the sunroof. And he says, no, you can only work scars up until 18 months after. And then after 18 months, there's nothing you can do. Baloney. I get so angry. There is something you can do. And that's what I help my clients, break up the scar tissue, or have your spouse or loved one do it for you. It's definitely easy. It's definitely doable. Don't give up. Don't give up. But I guarantee what happens with scars is they root down like tree roots into the body, into the organs. They cause adhesions. So just palpate, just feel into these areas. And if you're really getting stiff and tight, then that's a problem. That's that stiffness, that tightness is that stuck, dried gum adhering. It's an adhesion. You get locked down. And if you really get in tune with your body, say you had, an appendectomy or gallbladder on the right side, and you raise your arm on the right side, you might start to feel a pull in there. And that pull is scar tissue. Chances are. And what they found, even with, say, cadavers, people who donate their body to science who've had abdominal surgeries, the scar tissue is rooted down, okay? You can't pull it apart on a cadaver, which basically looks like meat and looks like a bar, a salad bar, like at a buffet. That's what inside the human body. Like I used to have anatomy lab before lunch, and I swear to God, everything I saw in a human body cadaver was shown on my lunch plate. Anyway, I digress. But so it's so stiff and tight in there. You can't break it apart with your hand, and you get a scalpel, you really, really got to work it to get the scar tissue out. So it puts pressure on our organs. It puts pressure on your bladder. You have to pee all the time, and you're having back pain. I had a seatbelt laceration. The seatbelt strangled me. It tore my carotid artery, like the outer layer. Like, that's a death sentence. I'm serious, a miracle for being alive. But I feel the burn of that scar, and you can't really see it because my brother was a nurse and he put on the silicone scar patch. It really helped it. And then the seatbelt lashed. I mean, it cut into where my psoas, where my hip flexors would be, and I have a big gash there. Like, I have a big indent in my belly. And you can believe it, that really does cause me pain from that scar. So it all adds up. And when I work with people, we got to do this deep dive. We got to look at your childhood. We got to look at your falls, your injuries, what you do for work. You are how you move. And that's my 5 steps to break free from pain. And I'm just sharing this with you because I want you to start looking at it, because I want you to get better. And there's always a way. There's always a way. So someone is writing, can a fall on the tailbone, which causes a slip disc, affect tightness or pain in the vaginal opening? Yes, but also it could be a systemic issue. Say you have vulvodynia. There could be a candida. There can be a cellular inflammation going on that needs to be looked at, because it's definitely a lot of yeast down there can be an issue, and bacterial infections, things like that are important to look at. But absolutely, because what happens, say, and I'm wondering if you had a slip disc and you have tightness or pain in the vaginal opening, there are nerves down there. All these nerves that innervate our organs and our lower legs that get us to move, our spinal cord goes through here, and you have all these nerves. But what if we can teach you how to free up a muscle, right? To free up a muscle, and then it takes the pressure off, right? There's definitely a way, you guys. Oh, good, Carol Jean. Yeah, I don't want you to feel hopeless. I'm here. Take the hope. There is hope, you guys. I have a broken bone in my leg and I'm pain-free. I have stenosis and 2 herniated discs. I'm pain-free, you know, but I do stupid things and then I start hurting and then I realize, oh, I know the answer. But you guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to go on a rant on this down the road, is these doctors, these therapists, they haven't necessarily had the experience. And I have the experience, but I have this fire in me. And I had to find a way, and I studied and did whatever. I have like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in training. Most physical therapists, you know, we have to get pretty much as an occupational therapist licensed in Arizona, I think I need 20 hours, 18 or 20 hours of training over 2 years. I have over 255, right, wait, 290 hours in the past 3 years. I do a lot. That's what you want your therapist to do. You want them to learn and go to these trainings, but unfortunately, it costs a lot of money. And that's where all my money goes. I love learning, I love education, and I love having people like you come to me and I have a solution. But the hard part is they don't always believe me. Someone called me up yesterday and they were really, really upset, and their whole life was upside down, and she couldn't even sit. She had vaginal burning pain. She's like, I just need to be stretched. And stretching will help, but you got to get these muscles released in a deep way. And she called, she canceled her appointment, and she's like, I'm going to go to someone at my chiropractor's office that takes insurance. And now I get it, I understand, but I could have helped her, and she could have been out of a lifetime of suffering. So we'll see if she comes back. I just have all this information and I want to help. I want to give you hope that you can get better. I've had so much happen. I've fallen from a 2-story when I was 11 years old. I broke my jaw, bruised my hip. I mean, I've been in the hospital so many times. So that's what I can offer you guys today. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Was this helpful for you? And I'm just going to check in the Facebook group that we don't have any questions here in the group. We got a lot of people joining. I do, like I said, I want people to join, just not just anybody can come on in. Okay, let's go over here. All right, Lynn is asking, can TMJ be related to an ear or a tooth infection? Yes, actually it's going to cause the ear and the tooth infection. We've got our temporal bones right here, and we've got all these muscles along here, and they clench down, clamp down. And Sheila's asking, what pillow would you suggest for back sleepers? I don't really have one for that. I should, right? I just have the this pillow here. But this pillow here, this one is by Langria, Langria. But if that doesn't work, you can get a comfy yoga strap or a scarf and tie the pillow between your legs, not too tight at night, and just see if that makes a difference, because it means you aren't sprawling your leg over the other and kind of ending up on your belly. And then just for this question about the TMJ causing the ear and teeth ache, I just want to share the visual of what the muscles look like. Okay, so hang on there. All right, so you see all these muscles here? And again, hang on, I'm a perfectionist here. Okay, there we go. So we've got our masseters, chomp, chomp, chomp. And if you take your finger and put it in your mouth and it's hard, you got tight jaw, you got tight muscles. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the masseter, and then we've got another deep masseter, but then we've got these pterygoids, P-T-E-R-G-O-I-D, like pterodactyl. And you need to release these. And then we've got another one inside. So I work in the mouth, I work on the roof of the mouth and all that. And my clients who work with me, I send you a video and teach you how to do it on your own, where you can release these. So again, look at this deep muscle here. We've got our teeth. So if your temporal bones, TMJ, temporal mandibular joint, okay, and I'm going to take this muscle off. So we've got a bone here, that's your temporal bone. Often people are twisted. Okay, you're twisted depending on how you came out of your mama's birth canal. It gets impacted, stress tightens you up, it pulls all the way down here, brings your shoulders up, and yeah, you're going to have some teeth and ear problems. There's so much pressure in there, and that's what's going to be a big problem, causing the teeth problems. Yep, I pretty much have a cure for everything, other than, you know, I'm not a doctor and there's other things that need to happen. So Kristen, do you have a question? Let's see if we can make this work and I can. All right, Kristen, can I hear you? Kristen, are you there? All right, I didn't hear. She's not on there. All right, anyone else? Last question, last chance for questions. Yeah, Carol, it makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So I really don't think going in and doing a surgery and causing more scar tissue and more inflammation is always going to answer if you could just release the muscles. Yeah. So you have to play with this, and this is why I work with people, because when these little situations come up, like she's saying, you know, I sleep on my right side and bend my knees, I sleep with a pillow, but now I wake up with so much more pain and burning sensation in my leg. Any ideas? Yes, you have to release those muscles. You've got to get them massaged, you've got to roll them out, you got to stretch them out, and that will help you. But just try to keep the pillow, like get a scarf, a soft scarf if you have one, and tie it to kind of keep the pillow loose, or I'm sorry, not loose, but fit. We don't want it too tight. You want it comfortable, and it will prevent the leg from sprawling. That's a cheap, inexpensive thing to try. And if you want to join our Facebook group, Pain Treatments That Work, you could reach out to me in there anytime this week and let me know, or you can reply to any of my emails, Phaedra at Pain Treatments That Work. I'm the only one who reads them and gets them. All right. Well, I hope that this was helpful. And you don't have to feel hopeless. I'm so tired of, and again, I am the patient now. I'm the therapist who became the patient, which was no fun. Let me tell you that. But I've learned so much in the meantime. And I'm looking, hi, Kelly, honey. Hope you're doing well today. Yeah, so it's been so helpful to have you all on. Kelly, we were just talking, if you just joined us, we were doing about all the muscles we've been teaching you how to do and release on your own, and you are doing great. So we'll work on that. All right, guys, that's it. That's the hidden causes of back pain. how you're sitting, tight belly muscles, tight pelvic floor muscles, jaw clenching, scars, vaginal delivery when you're delivering your children, the ripping and tearing, burning in the pelvis, in the vagina, in the pelvic floor can cause problems, tailbone injuries, vasectomies, tube tying, creating scars and causing more back pain. All right, any last questions? Hope I see one. Yeah. Well, it's, you know, I've had a few surgeries in my hip that have made me permanently disabled. I live with chronic pain and it's very debilitating. There's a lot of scar tissue. Yes, find a massage therapist and follow with me is they need to hold. They need to hold, and it's energy work, and I'm connecting with you, and it's intention, cranial sacral, myofascial release. You can come to Arizona in the States and come see me. I do intensives. I have my client Jackie. She, within 3 hours, 6 years of debilitating back pain, she was all better. I have to check in and see if it's still holding, but she knows what to do because I teach you. There's tools. There's lots of tools that you can get, you know, and help you. And you can find a way. There's always a way, and that's the good part. Okay. All right, good. It's such a pleasure to help you guys. Have a great night. Reach out. I'm here for you. And if you'd like to coach with me, if you'd like to really just dive in and have me go deep with you so you could break free from this pain, reach out, email me. We can set up a time to talk, okay? Much love to you, and I wish you speedy healing, and just know that it is possible. You just need to find that fire in you, and the fire in you has to be bigger than the fire around you. Take care. I appreciate you so much. Good night.